Now we're going to learn about a concept that's different from Spanish and English. We're going to learn about expressions with the verb tener, to have, where in English we don't use that verb to have, we use the verb to be. Let's get down to work. I am hungry. In English we use the verb to be, but not in Spanish. These are specific expressions where we would not use the verb to be, but the verb to have. In Spanish we say, yo tengo hambre. I have hungry. It sounds funny in English, but it sounds just as funny in Spanish if you would say, yo soy hambre. Doesn't make any sense to them. The same way that yo tengo hambre, I have hungry, doesn't make sense in English, but that's the way that they say it, and that's the way we have to learn it. You are thirsty. We use the verb to be in English. In Spanish, we use the verb to have. Tú tienes sed. You have thirsty, or we would translate that as you are thirsty. He is cold. Again in Spanish, él tiene frío. Right? It's like he has cold. Doesn't mean he has a cold. That would be different. This is just the way we would say, he's cold. Give him a sweater. Turn down the air conditioning. She is hot. Wow, well in English that could mean two different things. It could mean temperature-wise it's a little too warm, or that she's very sexy. Well in Spanish, we would use the verb tener to say, ella tiene calor. There's no confusion in Spanish. If we say ella tiene calor, it simply means that she's too warm. Open a window, turn up the air conditioning, get her a glass of water. It wouldn't be confused with the other one, she's sexy. There we would use the verb to be. Ella es caliente in that case. We are sleepy. Nosotros tenemos sueño. We have sleepy in Spanish, and that would be we are sleepy in English. Now here's a tricky one. They are 20 years old. When we talk about age in Spanish, we always use the verb to have. You've probably heard some Spanish people saying, oh, I have 20 years old, or my daughter has 10 years old, and you wonder, why do they speak like that? Well, because they're thinking in Spanish and not in English. Now you know why. Because when we say they are 20 years old, in Spanish we must say ellos tienen 20 años. Literally, they have 20 years. Right? Now we can mix them all up to say I am 20 years old, yo tengo 20 años. To say he is sleepy, él tiene sueño. To say you are cold, tú tienes frío. To say we are hungry, nosotros tenemos hambre. The important thing is that we learn these particular expressions when we talk about being hungry, thirsty, hot, cold, sleepy, age, and there's a couple of more that we'll look at later on in the course. We don't translate them with the verb to be. We use the verb tener. Yo tengo hambre. Yo tengo sed.